Just tuning in, welcome. You're here with Mandy and Crystal. Crystal is amazing and resilient, and we just needed to reset during this retrograde, and she figured it out. So, thank you, magical sister, for your patience and diligence.
I gotta tell you, I am not a technological person at all, so it's pretty funny that people would have. I think that it's.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
I was just going to say, I hung up on our phone call, but now I hear you too on my phone.
Okay. I was like,
But I'd
oh
like it to
crap,
be a
what
little,
did
it's
I
not
do
very
now?
loud. I don't hear you
So
very
excuse
loudly.
anybody who may be like doing this, that whatever. Okay, I'm canceling everything right now. I'm just canceling that. I was gonna see if I could like, take it and send it to other people, but it doesn't look like that's gonna be the case right now. So I'm just hoping that what is happening? Oh Lord, have mercy. I froze. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I can't hear you very loudly. I have my volume turned up, but
I've got my headphones in.
okay.
I don't know. I'm waiting for people. Hopefully, they like, I should be getting streamed. I don't have another phone or another way to look and see if it's actually being streamed onto Facebook right now. Because
Gotcha.
I'm using
Yeah.
my phone. I don't know if I can, like, if I click off this, if it'll just be like a blank screen.
Right. I'm using mine too. Well, Matt, if you are watching this live and see us trying this again, shoot me a text and let me know if you can see and hear both of us. But and last time when I went live, it told me there was people watching. Does it show anybody watching on your side?
No, but this would be a completely different. This would be a completely different view for them. It wouldn't be the same link that we posted before.
And my friend Matt, who is one of our amazing sea gods, just texted me and said that he can see and hear both of us.
Whoop whoop! Thank you, Matt. You're
So
awesome.
must be working. We figured it
Yay!
out. And
All
the
right.
second time's a charm. We didn't even have to do three.
I feel like that's pretty good, especially for people who just figured this out really today. I don't think that was too horrible to figure out.
And we're on the backside of retrograde, so
Yay!
this is
I see
something
a
else.
comment.
Get ready to get post shadow the next couple weeks. We've got a full moon tomorrow night, backside of eclipses, and we only took us 2 tries. So here
I
we
know.
are, and
Like,
hopefully we'll be using this platform to bring you this show and many, many more. And we're just so excited.
so hello, Sophia. Thank you so very much for commenting because we were really lost. We know it's not the same platform or the same link from before, but we thank you for being patient. So, how has your day been, Mandy?
What's that?
I said, how has your day been?
My day's been pretty lovely so far. I got some decent sleep last night for the first time in a few nights. I've been just busy, but good busy. There's just been a lot to do. I've had lots of clients, lots of events, lots of holding space with magical people. We had the summer solstice, and it's been just like absolutely wonderful.
I thought
Matt's
that
letting
was
me know that I sound a little low at this time, so I'm going to speak just a little bit louder. Okay, I'm getting confirmation that that's good. Oh, what would we do without you, buddy? This is amazing. So I will speak a little bit louder. Sometimes I speak quieter because I tend to be too loud. Oh, we got Pammy Shoop up in the house.
I was
Hey,
like, hi,
Pammy.
baby.
And I see a Mandy and an Angie and Sophia. Thank you so much for being with all of us. But yeah, I would just say these energies have been intense. They've been an opportunity to not get caught or stuck in your own traumas, dramas, bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
and to stay a little bit more present. And if you're tired, to rest, to let that happen. If you have an injury that's slowing you down at this time, it's important to nurture it and love it and give yourself the opportunity to rest. And for me, I've been enjoying riding all the waves. What about
It's
you?
been
How have you been doing, sister?
it's been a crazy week. Like, I've just been exhausted. I've been tired all week. I've also been a little bit testy, but I'm like, okay, so I know what's happening. There's like a slew of energetic things that are happening. So I don't tend to get too butthurt over those anymore. I'm just kind of like, okay, so double layers of protection. I make sure that when I'm having those days, I make sure that I reach my arms out and see my bubble. Um,
Mm.
Front and center the best way that I can. Like, okay, Crystal, here's your bubble, and then I protect myself that way. And I've also been asking or thanking the angels for making sure that any and all universal, planetary, earth energies that are being received go through those double layers. And so they only hit me with positivity, clarity, understanding, and consciousness for what everybody's supposed to be creating. And that has helped so much. So much.
Yeah.
Hi, Noelle. Yeah, we didn't share the link because we had a little meltdown in the beginning, but it's cool now. We're all here. It's good. We're good.
We had a little
So
retrograde meltdown, but we figured it out, and now we're back, and now we'll know how to do it for our next one. So that's exciting.
So I'm also, now that I'm messing with stuff and everybody's like, you might not see me for a second, y'all. It's okay. I'm just getting I'm screen recording because I don't know if it records.
I think it does, because when we hung up on our first trial, it was already replayed. So
Oh,
I think
okay,
it does
awesome.
one way or another, but either way,
Perfect.
record it up,
Perfect,
baby.
wonderful. So we're doing this live streaming because we want you guys to be a part of this. And we don't feel like we like chatting with each other, because we can chat with each other, I think, all the time.
I do love
but we really wanted... I was like, we flow pretty well together, I think. I don't know. I feel like it just kind of comes out and we have great talks. And I don't know about your clients, but my clients seem to be on point with everything that we talk about. But we really wanted to give you guys an opportunity to ask questions and be a part of our space. So that's what we're here for. Y'all got any issues, problems, spiritual chaos that is taking place in your life that you would like a little bit of a push in? If you do, we can help. That's what we're here for. If not, just tell us the topic and we'll talk. It's cool.
Totally. What's been rising and falling away most? What have you been noticing, with yourself and your clients in this current crazy energy?
Oh,
And
so
I did hear that tomorrow night is the last super moon of 2021,
Yep.
which I think we could take like an easier second half of the year. I think that would be all right.
See, I don't know. I mean, it's been so amplified, but I've had nothing but great things come of what the first part of the year is. And I think it's because I'm finally able to be mindful of the stripping process that is taking place. So, in 2018, I started going through that whole dark night of the soul nonsense and thought I was going to completely stop doing what I did. But really, I'm just learning that it helped me see those different shadow layers in a more positive way, to kind of understand and reflect on those as they started coming in now. And so where they're amplified, it's not, I can see it better now. So even though it's coming in and it feels a little bit angsty some days, it's easier for me to look at and be like, oh, okay, so it's really just growth for me. I think that I have been so in tune with everybody else my whole entire life and doing things based on the way they want it to be. I think Spirit's really trying to get me to hold my own truths very firmly and be like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm creating. This is not going to take me off track for anything. And so I really think that what they're doing for me is just helping me create and stay focused on what that creation looks like. So that's kind of what's been happening with me. And you know me, you've been through this with me for at least 2 years. So you've seen all of my weird things. And generally speaking, this used to be a huge fear for me. Connecting with other people and having people actually interact terrified me, because I was always afraid that I was going to do it wrong. But I've kind of learned, I'm like, Spirit won't ever let you do it wrong. So just do it. Doesn't matter. Just let it come through. It'll be what it's going to be.
There's really no wrong or right. And for me, I've come to realize it's more about your intention and being heartfelt and feeling like you're being integral and, doing your best to just do the best that you can do that day. Our best changes each and every day. It's hard. It's not an easy thing. But it's really important to tune into forgiving ourselves as much as possible and meeting ourselves with ease and grace and love, and helping us to, I think it's like what that does is it gives energy to those goals that we're setting and those intentions that we're setting. And when we're not caught up in our head and we're not caught up in the outside experiences, then we're able to funnel in and focus better. And what that does is it takes us into the present. We don't get caught in our head or in the traumas and dramas. And then we're able to co-create because we are focusing on what it is we're calling it. So doing that is sacred and hard work. It's not an easy thing.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I used to take it as such an anxiety, and I can understand that. There's a lot of what the clients are dealing with too. I gotta point this out because Sophia is making me laugh a little bit. She's like, I have my husband here with me. He is super logical, trying to get him on my spiritual train. I kind of laugh because I'm surrounded by logical thinkers. And so I don't feel like you should force him or try to give him knowledge based off from what he's going to understand. Okay, because my son is so very polar opposite of me. He's such a scientist and such an analytical thinker. He's like perfect engineer. And so he has a harder time seeing the spirituality behind different things. However, giving him little pushes in the scientific field of things that have already been proven, it's really cool because science is starting to back a lot of what we've been saying is true for eons. And so it makes it a little bit easier. I feel like there's always room for skepticism in what we do. And I think that that's part of what I do on a daily basis. Like, I question people, I don't question spirit. And so if something comes into my gut, I'm like, that's what it is. And if somebody tries to tell me that's not reality, I don't need to argue with them. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like you're misinformed because anyone's spirit's telling me. And so it's just kind of staying within your own balance and learning how to communicate together in a way that makes sense and agreeing to disagree, because he may not always be on the same path or the same way of seeing thinking and believing that you are. And that's cool too, because I love an analytical brain. It helps me question myself better. And it also helps me gain knowledge in some of this that I might not have had. And so I kind of like it when my son questions me on stuff, because it like puts me in this place and I'm like, shoot, I got to think about that a little bit more. And then I'll go and try to figure it out. So I wouldn't try to get you to hop on his side, but I'd try to get you guys to talk in a more spiritually understanding and scientific understanding at the same time, and see where you guys both come up on that. It's really interesting when you open the door to both avenues, truthfully.
I think that's beautiful advice. And it's important, like for me, I think when it comes to any relationship and whoever it is, a lot of times when we open ourselves up to this beautiful and amazing spiritual world, we want to shout it from the rooftops and we want to share it, but nobody gets it in the same flavor. And it's your own amazing little soul path and soul journey where you see the 1111s and the 222s and the 444s, where you get signs from your angels, where you get feelings that happen within you that resonate, and like you're on your own path. And sometimes you can be explaining the same thing, that someone else
Yeah.
explains, but someone else is able to hear that person because of their own perceptions. And a lot of times when it's our close family members or spouses or friends or people who we love a lot, they're not able to hear from the same perspective. And that's okay. There's so many different frequencies and songs and ways that will resonate with people when they're ready. I think I saw a follow-up question that
Yes, I was just reading that.
yeah, that says, when her husband Matt asks his spirit guides a question, how can he be more open to receiving? How can he open himself to receive? So, one of my favorite ways to do that, I was just speaking about this earlier, is when we're in any sense of overwhelm, whether it's grief, shame, anxiety, guilt, fear, any of the icky feelings are basically lower vibrational feelings. We're humans. We have to feel them. Sometimes we have to go through them. It's part of our experience here in this realm. But what happens is when we get caught in a set of feelings for longer than the for longer than a certain amount of time, it ends up kind of creating and developing a mood, and then we end up staying in this for a while. And when we stay in that, which sometimes it's divine and it's okay, but sometimes we perpetuate our own suffering on our own longer than maybe we want to. And so, whenever we take a deep breath, and I like to use a tool of going over 10 things I'm grateful for in the moment, what that does is it opens up our heart chakra and our portals of receiving. Because when we neurologically concentrate on something like gratitude, it's a higher vibration. But we don't have to necessarily bring ourselves right up to joy or ecstasy or any sort of crazy feeling. We can just be like, all right, I'm having a bit of a rough day, or I'm not getting the messages that I'm wanting, or I'm not getting, the money I'm needing or the job or whatever it is. What do I do to calm this down and call it in? Well, when I get a second, I'm going to take a few deep breaths and go over 10 things I'm grateful for. By the time you get down to number 10, it resets your entire body. It comes through and it flushes out all of your chakras. It realigns your energy. It flushes through your meridians. And what happens is this resonance of gratitude starts kind of floating through at a cellular level. And then you calm down a little bit and you're not focused on what it was you were worrying about, and you can breathe and your portals of abundance open back up. So it's important to be patient with yourself. That's one way to do it. And then simply, we live in a free world, in a free will society. This realm that we live in, this earth school here, it has the law of free will that we have to operate by. So simply saying, I am open to receiving your messages. I'm open to receiving all good. Please show me the way. Please use me and show me the way. Please give me signs and help me to tune into the subtle energies. Just asking and praying and setting the attention and trying to sit in peace and gratitude as much as possible at this time. It is not easy for anybody during these times. It'll help, I think. What about you, Crystal? What do you think helps to be open to receive some messages?
I do the same thing. I ask that I do the exact same thing. When I'm really in a crazy place, like energetically, I make sure that one, I try to set my ego aside and like rebalance myself by taking my breaths. Um, I remind myself of the things that I'm grateful for. I don't necessarily go through 10 things. I probably should, but I don't. I'm like, okay, so this is what it's like. Today's a good day because of this. And so today is a good day because of this. And then it kind of like veers you out of that mental space for the moment. But I'm also like kind of, I don't know, it's just like a whole slew of everything together. So I kind of do the exact same stuff. Lately, I've been thanking them more for helping me receive the gifts that they want to present to me in the time that they're asking to present them, because I have found that a lot of us get into, I know I did, I found that a lot of us get into mental spaces where we don't accept gifts. We don't accept compliments. We don't accept love to ourselves. We give love freely by holding a door, smiling at a stranger, saying, hey, I hope you have a great day. Or all the love and conversations that we have with our family members when we're dealing with their stuff. And it's kind of like, you know, we feel so ugly regarding a gift system within ourselves that it shuts us down energetically from receiving gifts from above. And so even though you've placed all that hard work into manifesting, if you're not ready to receive, they can't give it to you. And so energy works both ways. We have to be ready in the moment, like physical moment, but the energy has to match that too. And so we also have to be like, hey, you know what? I'm worthy of these gifts. I've worked my ass off for it. And so I'm thankful for everything that you guys want to present to me in the now, in the future, whatever. I'm just waiting for the doors to open and I will freely walk through them. Thank you for guiding me on my path. And I found that makes me feel better because I don't necessarily I feel like sometimes people want to see the instant gratification or see things so much so that they lose track of the feelings behind a lot of what that means. And the only issue with that is that a lot of us are feelings type of beings. We are spirit first, human second. And so if we have shut down that empathic space inside of ourselves, because we don't like how peoply this feels or how this makes me feel. We try to micromanage and control the energy systems that are taking place around us all the time. And so we're not ready to receive because we're only wanting this when it's happening or only wanting this when it's happening. And so they're not being able to fully help us grow, learn, experience, connect, receive, and also heal. And so if we're shutting down each one of those things or this versus this, we're not ready to accept. And so we have to be willing to freely walk through each and every door that is open for us, even if it's scary, because that's when things will start to kind of fall into place with you. And so I would say the biggest part for me is learning that I not only am worthy of whatever it is that they want me to have and or receive, but also I've asked them to use me or utilize me in a way that will help as many people as I possibly can. And so before I was learning not to do that out of fear, and now I'm starting to get out of that, and I feel better. Like I don't feel so stagnant myself. I don't feel like I'm in this little bottle like waiting to like go off every day. I feel freer just in making those steps in my life. So I would say you have to say what you mean and mean what you say with your energy and your words. So it's one of those systems. Practice what you preach, y'all, in your daily life, because that will help.
Line up vibrationally within yourself. I like
Yes.
that.
I'm going to go up in the comments because K-Bert Carter said she's got lots of drama and I feel that I'm being used and it's kind of confusing for me. So do we have anything for K-Bert?
Mm.
There's a lot of people
I
that are
mean,
being used right now because there's a lot of energy systems closing and healing. So it's causing like real growers, like people who really want to do the work, it's causing them to have to make boundaries with people who no longer serve them a purpose for their growth, the love that they have, and what they're trying to create in life. Does that mean that we have to close doors and lock them? Absolutely not. That's not what that means. Boundaries are, I'm going to not allow this, this, or this right now because those aren't conversations that I either want to have or I can't have currently until I figure myself out. Or this is just not an energy that I'm going to allow. And so it is frustrating. It feels like you get into a very alone space when you start to understand and acknowledge those things. So I'm sure you are very frustrated, and I'm sure that you are struggling with that immensely because most of us do. But at the same time, I would say to you to reevaluate your life and the people surrounding you in it. Okay, because a lot of times we surround ourselves with people from more past situations that really aren't necessarily cheering for the growth in what we're trying to create right in the now, I guess. And that's the same way with every relationship. It's not just spouses that grow apart from each other, friends do, family does, everybody does. And so you have to be willing to understand when it's just, you can only be used if you allow people to use you. And that really peeves people off when I say that, but it's the truth.
well,
Um,
part of it's showing up for it. Like when we
yeah.
realize that, we know. Like all of a sudden, we know when energy doesn't feel the best or something's going on. I always encourage people to be as honest as possible, to have a heartfelt
Hmm.
conversation. Like, hey, this happened yesterday and this made me feel this way. And I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if that's fact or if that's the case. And, and being really clear, and then loving and honoring yourself enough to say, it doesn't feel good when I'm around this energy or when this is happening. And I'm going to be brave enough to take some time for myself. A lot of people have like kind of that FOMO, that fear of missing out. I certainly did when I was younger, and I would show up for things that would take my energy just because I wanted to be a part of it or be around or feel that way. But I've come to notice when something doesn't feel in alignment for me, it's important to not first to not jump to conclusions, to get a little bit more clarity when you can, and then honor what feels right to you at this time. And a lot of times when we choose to release certain relationships because it no longer feels like a vibrational match, then newer ones come in that do. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or them or this or that. It just means that
No.
you're experiencing different things in our school at this time and you're moving into a different place. But if you feel like, there's a lot of drama around you or like you're being used, then it's important to tune into your intuition about that and sit with it and ask, how is this serving me? How is this situation serving me? How am I serving this situation? Is it best to continue, forward with this? Is there an opportunity for healing and clarity and growth? A lot of times it's just miscommunication. A lot of
Hmm.
times drama happens because we're gossiping and we're not talking to the source and we're not getting right straight to it. And so
Yep.
I'm big, like, honesty is the best policy, and just being
Boom.
that we're all human.
Come
We're
together.
going to make mistakes and there's going to be drama sometimes, even if
Yep.
you don't want it, but it's how you choose to show up.
Exactly. I don't. I love everything that you just said. Conversations. Nope. We live in a air like right now. I'm understanding that there are a lot of people that say they want to communicate and have conversations, but at the end of the day, it's very hard for them because they were never properly taught how to communicate. And
Mm-hmm.
so they react instead of having the communication. And it's like, whoa, that's not what I said. Because Crystal's big on if I say it, that's what I mean, but don't read into my words because that's not who I am. I will tell you what I think. So just understand that. And so when people try to add things in and they're like, well, this, or this, I'm like, hold up. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. That has nothing to do with me because I'm going to repeat my words back to you exactly how I said them. And so your interpretation of those words is not on me. How you hear them and how you filter those through your process of trauma, that's on you. I didn't mean anything negative by this. I'm stating the facts based on how I'm feeling in the situation. And so you really need to reevaluate how you're hearing them based on some of the triggers you haven't quite healed yet. There's real weird conversations that happen in my life. People are like,
Well, and that's the
whoa.
thing. Those are always opportunities to grow and heal and
Whoa.
evolve, and they happen in us and for us all the time. And some of them are sacred, and some of them it's an opportunity to see maybe where we're giving our power away, where we're too concerned with what someone else might think of us at the time. and things like that. When, like I said, if you tune back in, everybody knows when they're being a shitty person.
I know I do.
If you're not showing up in the best way that you can at that time, and it's different for each person. So it's just about getting real and getting honest with yourself.
See, I have like the worst energy sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Like I have this very stern energy, and I still haven't quite figured that out. I'll actually apologize. Like, I'll be like, "Hold up a second. I need to let you know. Like, I'm not trying to like attack you with my energy here. I can understand how that would feel, but I'm not feeling ugly inside when I'm speaking. I just have a forceful energy field, I think. And so it's one of those things I'm like, hold up. Because being the empath that I am, I can usually feel how other people are feeling in the moment. And so it's like, hold up, that's not how I'm meaning this to sound. However, I understand also that I have a very forceful energy and I don't take crap. I shut it down very quickly. I'm like, hold up, that's not how this conversation is going to go. We're going to actually try to, have an open communication with a resolution. I don't want things, there's a lot of conversations that people are having where nothing's being resolved. It's a revolving conversation, it has a revolving door. So they're saying a lot of things, but they don't truly intend on doing the work to fix the things that are being said. They just want to be heard, which that I also understand because that's also part of the healing process. And that comes from our child inside of us feeling like we weren't heard as children. And so as adults, we're begging for somebody to hear us and we're feeling all that trauma coming to the surface. And that's frustrating for us. But we have to meet our own child from that traumatic situation with love and essentially do a soul retrieval on ourselves in that moment and try to meet that person where they are. I go back to my child self sometimes and just grab her by the face and I'm like, you are so magical. I absolutely love you. And I thank you so very much for being the child that you are and were. Like, I love that girl. And I go back and I envision her and I hold her and I sit with her when she's sitting on the sidelines, not being picked for something. That's how I go back and fix that in me. And so when I'm having conversations with other people who haven't done that and try to blame me, or gaslight me or throw their traumas back and project them onto me, that's when I do the timeout system. I'm like, hold up. That's when my energy will kind of meet them a little bit differently. And people are like, whoa, I'm very nice until I'm having to step within my space and really hold those boundaries. And I think that comes from a lot of things that I've experienced in the past with the abusive situations that I've been in. And now I'm just meeting myself as this woman goddess, like, hey, no, I deserve respect. I deserve a simple conversation and I deserve you to meet me where you said you want to meet me. Let's do this or let's not do this. It's up to you. I'm okay with either or. I'm not going to be hurt regardless because I understand everything happens for a reason. And so we have to be okay with kind of letting things just be sometimes. And I think sometimes as humans, we get so stuck in our anxieties and our frustrations of what's not being met in us or just our traumas. Like, y'all have to love yourself better because that's such a thing that all of us are going through right now. But it's so hard some days because that anxiety takes the better of us. And that anxiety is what makes us react the ways that we don't really want to react. So that's one of those things that I feel like all of us are learning how to communicate better. And that's probably why a lot of people break down and cry in situations where they're having communication, because all these feelings from everything that's ever happened to you in your life is coming to the surface all at once. And you don't know how to relay that to the people that you love, and you feel misunderstood or you don't want them to misunderstand you. And so it's hard to stand in your space because we're all empathic beings and we're all growing and we're all learning to love differently. And that love has to start within ourselves because a lot of you are very sick right now, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in the sense that you're exhausted. And you're exhausted because your spirit's begging for you to look at your life in a different way so you can refill your cup and not really need other people to do that for you. It's nice if people can and be that beautiful energy exchange, but at the end of the day, sometimes that's just not what's going to happen. Some people can't meet us there because they're not there yet, and we have to be okay with that.
We have to be okay with that, and we can only show up the best we can and accept others where they're at, and when it comes down to it, we're all kind of just victims raising victims, and we're healing, generational trauma
Yeah.
for the first time in the past few generations, and we're just starting to, chip away a little bit with our ice picks at all of those wounds that we have here. And
Mm.
so I think the more you can just meet yourself and others with love and ease and grace. And when you're on the loop and you're not getting anywhere with whoever it is, just say, it's okay to take a time out.
It's
It's okay
okay.
to go have a glass of water. It's okay to breathe. It's
Yep.
okay to not talk about this right now.
Yep. Sometimes we need space.
Everybody. Like that's
Like,
okay. And there's certain times where where you get in an argument or things come
yeah.
up or rise or whatever it is, and it's just a reflection of how much you love and how much you care about what they think of you in that time.
I love that you said that, because this is like on my TikTok lately. We've been talking about spirit, and I cannot tell people how much I want people to. I'm trying to teach spirit. I'm schooling people on spirit because there's so many layers. It's just, I don't know what the heck took place and when it took place, but why is it that once we pass, we are no longer human? We no longer have that human ego that still exists in us. Spirit is not like some weird being that doesn't exist in the form that like they still have thought processes. And so it's funny when people are saying something, they're like, oh, well, this happened to me. And I'm like, okay, but do you know why that happened? It's a lack of communication. We have to understand that our energy communicates. Like spirit energy communicates with you, and you can communicate with spirit energy also. And so that's when the receiving happens. And it's just funny because like, I really want people to understand that just like us, we have layers. Nobody's going to be able to read you just by one meeting of 5 minutes. Nobody's going to know your whole story just by that one meeting. And so it's very similar to spirit. You have to get through those layers. So do they seem creepy? Probably. But why are they creepy? Doesn't mean they're creepy. It means they have a creepy energy. And so why is that? And so it's just breaking down those layers of understanding things in a different way. And I feel like once we can understand ourselves, hear this, investigators and other paranormal experts, hear this. Once you heal yourself, you're going to understand spirit better. That's it. That's how it happens. Right there. That's the door. Poof, walk through it. Nobody wants to walk through that one. They're all demons, every single one of them.
And honestly, and we talk about this a lot, it's more comfortable to stay in what we know and the traumas and dramas and stories that we recognize at this time than it is to ascend into the unknown and into peace and into, this thing where we don't have attachment to the story we always told ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we get really attached to our stories and our trauma and our drama. I know I did for a long time.
I did too. I still am some days. Some days I'll be good, and other days I'm like, oh yeah, this happened, and I'm like this because of this. And I'm like, well, Crystal, not true. You can be whoever you choose to be.
Things, and they shifted our perspectives, and they made us, inspired us, I should say, to do the things that we're doing now and to move along, our life path, and to want to gain healing in different perspective. And I believe very much that even our worst pain and the things that we went through, there's purpose to that pain, and that our higher selves often chose to take a look at that perspective to grow while we're down here in this realm and we're here to experience it. This is just one short little life in our book of lifetimes. And each time, we get an opportunity to grow our souls.
I love that.
On our experiences. And relationships are one of the best catalysts to that. But the only relationship you have is with yourself. That's the one that you have the longest, and all the other ones are temporary. As beautiful and wonderful and as fulfilling as they may be, we came down into this whole realm. And as you know, each of us only have, our own lifetime and our own perspectives and our relationship with ourselves. And that's why it's so important to get so clear and to tune in on who you are and what it is that you're wanting to experience and do and bring and share at this lifetime, and give yourself the grace and permission to know that that's going to evolve and change with you and your consciousness.
See, this is why I love Mandy. She's like so healing and so soothing, and I'm like, this is what such a different energy with Mandy. She always calms me down. I told you, I've been spicy all week. I'm trying my hardest not to be spicy. And hello from London.
Embrace your spice and be
well,
and I'm rocking a little bit of my
but
pizzazz and grit, and it's full moon tomorrow night. We're in the end of retrograde. We're at the end of the eclipse seasons.
I just really wish people could see spirit how I see spirit, because I see spirit exactly like I see people. And people right now, they feel like everybody that is negative should be just like torn down, destroyed. I can't be that way because they won't allow me to be that way. If I see humans that way, then I'm going to see spirit that way. And I can't see spirit that way because my job is to counsel and tell their story. I have to be an openness to understanding the whole entire story. And whether or not somebody's ugly today doesn't mean that they were always ugly. And I really just want people to be nicer and understand that we never know what created what you're receiving from somebody. You know, it literally makes me so emotional because there have been, and I'm sure in all of you guys, there have been so many days in our lives where it's just like we wake up on the wrong side of the bed and we go and we do something and it's like crap, you know, and then you realize, oh, I probably was the crappy person in that situation. And you want to go back and fix it, but you can't go back and fix it. But what if we met those people with love and just said, hey, you know what? I understand you might be having a bad day. I'm sorry about that. And I hope your day gets better. I send love to you, or I pray for you, I bless you, but our trauma keeps us stuck in the fight or flight mode. And all of you are begging to get out of that because you're exhausted with that. It's a revolving door, and that's where you feel so drained. And so, yeah, I'm spicy, but I want to be spicy with purpose. I don't want to be spicy on the attack, Crystal, or spicy because I'm bitter, Crystal. And I can't touch people and I can't help people if I'm going to act spicy in a way that makes them feel stupid or attacked. And that's never my intention. So I'm trying to hone down on the spiciness because I do understand I'm a little much some days. And I get that because I feel it myself.
Really like your snark sometimes, though.
A lot of people do. They don't understand. Like,
sometimes your snark's a little divine.
I'm like, sometimes my snark is like, hold up just a cotton pick a minute. I was just talking to somebody about that before we live streamed. I was like, if people understood some of the rants that I go on, and I'm like, okay, and blah, 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 blah. You know, I went on a rant this morning. I ranted fully this morning at 7:30 a.m. because I'm just like, can we stop living in the past and just start working? Like, let's take all the collective people who really wants to create something in the future. Let's do that. Like, let's go, guys. Let's create. Yes, we've got to understand what happened in the past. We have to understand where those things came from, how they make people feel, what that is a resonation of. We have to understand that or nobody's going to heal. Yeah, I get that. But please stop being so mean to everybody. Like, it's really not that difficult. It's really not that difficult to see somebody as an individual instead of a group.
Yeah, we don't have to spew our shit over everybody else. We can go and yell in a pillow or take it out, you know, in the woods or whatever it is. But, you know, and it never feels good, you know, when you're being like shitty. Like I said earlier. It never feels good afterwards.
No, it doesn't, because I always want to go back and be like, Crystal. And then I'm pink light and loving them from my heart to theirs, hoping that they catch the drift that I'm sorry. And then it's a whole thing. And then I'm spending my afternoon like trying to cover the person in love and make it better. And so, yeah, just try to get it right the first time, but also be nice to yourself.
You would have had 6 more hours to co-create your manifestations and learn new things and experience the presence, right?
Yes. I love that we just got like a thing from Haps. Thank you, Haps. Audio was really low on Sea Goddess's side. So thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to work on our audio for the next time.
Oh, good to know. Oh yeah, that's what we did. We got a text message saying that my audio was pretty low, so I'm just going to talk a little louder for the end of this one. And this is our first trial at this. And overall, we did pretty good.
We did.
But, we'll get better and better. And that's kind of cool that there's a moderator. So thank you, Pablo. Appreciate you.
I appreciate him too, because this is our first time. And yay, we're doing it. So I'm going to go back to Amber Richardson that said, and also I'm going to hold on before I do that. Stacy Duke, could you send that to me in a message? And I will try to answer you that way. Because I need to know what the dream was to be able to interpret it. You'll be typing like really fast. So send that one to me in a message and I'll get back to you. Okay, hon? So what are the must-have crystals that you suggest for empaths, healers, mediums, or for your house? And I'm going to let you go on this one, Mandy, because I've got a whole thing with crystals.
Oh, do you? I like, you know, I think if you're just opening yourself up to crystals, it's really nice to pick one, each one from the color of the rainbow because those match up with all of your chakras. So then that'll cover your chakra system. I really like for empaths to typically have some clear quartz and crystal grid their house. Like I like to do that. One piece of clear quartz in each corner of your home or apartment or living space, whatever it is. And then ask your angels to crystal grid it and protect you while you're there and to keep you feeling safe and loved and nurtured. Amethyst and rose quartz are very soft and very nurturing. I also find howlite to be amazing for empaths because it really reduces a lot of anxiety. It helps
That's
you
a
to get more
beautiful
sleep
one.
when you're overthinking. Selenite is incredibly soothing and healing and just overall love machine of a crystal. And then usually something like black, like some tourmaline or onyx or something that might just bring you in a little bit more protection. Oh, and serpentine is probably one of my favorites for empaths.
I didn't mean to not listen to you, but you mentioned the only
You're
one that I
fine.
use. I cannot use crystals. Crystals negatively affect my energy
Crystal can't
field.
use crystals.
Mm-mm. Nope. And actually, it was super funny because my guides were like, you are crystal. And I was like, oh, because it was a whole thing for a long period of time because my energy field, I've had the pictures taken and I've had that stuff done, and everybody's like, holy cow. Because it always looks like a weird kaleidoscope when I have that stuff done. And so I'm like, okay, when I say I'm an empath on steroids, I mean, I can feel energy from 2 days like ahead, which I'm sure most healers can. I don't think that I'm special or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm starting to understand that I don't really need things to offset that, because when I bring them into my life, it actually creates too much of a vibration in a place that it doesn't make me feel good. I'll just put it that way. Specifically magnetic types of crystals. Cannot have those in my house at all because they make me feel like I'm being dragged through quicksand. It's awful. So that's one of those things that um, I don't know if you can see this, but that's one of those things that I work on in myself. So see how clear this, I'm going to explain to you what selenite does, y'all, because it's the only thing I can use.
Oh,
See how
so you
clear
do
this
use
one is?
selenite.
I do. Selenite's the only crystal that I can use, and I
I'm
don't
like,
know
I'm gonna
why.
mail you some howlite and some selenite. So
It's like,
okay,
I
good.
love selenite. It's the only one that I use it. I sleep with it. I put it on my chest, my heart chakra sometimes, or underneath it when I sleep. I like to have really crazy dreams sometimes, so I'll put it under my pillow when I'm asking for clarity. It's the only stone that doesn't need to be recharged, but it recharges everything. So what selenite does, it's beautiful. I don't know if you can see the clarity behind this and how beautiful it is. It's because it hasn't taken on any crap. Selenite takes on all the ugly. See how this one, how nasty and gross it is? It's taken on too much of the stuff. It's on my table. It used to be on my table before COVID. And so it would help with protection and it would help with stuff like that. And so it would take on all the negativity. So I didn't. And so what you do when you're done with selenite, you thank it for its use and you take it outside and you put it in a hole and you give it back to the earth so it can become one with the universe again. And it's like the best thing ever for people who are energetic people and need a little bit of balance in their life. I love selenite. It also is used very, very well. Like you can find things to rub your hands in because it will help with physical, emotional healing, anxiety. It's just a cool rock. It's awesome.
I'm a big fan, and it's super infused and connected to the angelic realm, so you just
Yes.
can't go wrong.
I love it.
Crystal, I only have a few more minutes left for this live stream. What do we want to end on today?
I feel like, do you feel, because you're really good at this and that's why I'm asking, do you want to just kind of close it out and give people who are watching some love for their life and maybe some blessings for whatever to come and maybe some of the stuff they're dealing with?
Yeah, I'm a little behind on the comments, but I saw some come through, and I saw some people are experiencing loss and heartache
Mm.
and separation, and I just want everyone to know that with this upcoming full moon, it's really going to be a gateway into the new and into abundance and into things coming. And if you're having a hard time connecting or tuning into yourself right now, take a few deep breaths and just know that you're held and you're loved, and maybe come up with like 3 to 5 things that light you up. We just had the
Mm.
summer solstice. It's all about the returning of light. And even on your darkest days, you can usually find something that lights you up, whether it's laughing at your dog or drawing or going outside and looking at a river or, a flower, whatever it is. So I would just say to, as you know, we're welcoming in the light, to remember your own light and find the things that bring you joy and light you up. And stay tuned with Crystal and I, because we're going to be doing this show weekly. And on the Sea Goddess Healing Arts Network, we have a lot more shows
Yes.
coming. And we have a drum circle coming up July 11th. This weekend, we are going to be in Atlantic City at the Showboat Casino at the Boardwalk Buds event. And Kendra Hamill of Higher Self Healing and myself will be speaking at that event at 7 o'clock Friday nights. If you want to come and check us out live, we will be there all weekend as a vendor, and then speaking live at 7 p.m. on Friday night. And we're probably going to broadcast it here on Hacks too.
Yay!
So I'm excited about that.
Invite me.
And if you are interested in following us or working with us, just give us a like on Sea Goddess Healing Arts, or check out our website, seagoddesshealingarts.com. How can people find you, Crystal, and what are some closing things that you want to say today?
I am Mid-Mitten Medium on Actually, no, I'm not. I'm taking that down. I always say Facebook. I'm taking that one down. I only want one page. So I'm Spirit Speaks with Mid-Mitten Medium on Facebook. You can find me at Mid-Mitten Medium on TikTok. I did want to say a quick comment to the one who stated that they had lost their sister and they are struggling immensely right now with that loss. Follow the TikToks that I do. I don't know if you're on TikTok, but I would follow the TikToks that I do, because I talk a lot about how we can communicate and receive with our own loved ones. Because once again, my big thing is teaching people that we all have these gifts. We just have to learn to ignite those. The problem is that when we lose somebody that we love so tremendously, it creates a pain, and that pain is something that is deep, and it is something that has to be moved through with times, much like the tide. So you sit some days on the beautiful piece of land sitting right outside of that tide, and it's out for the day, and then all of a sudden it comes rushing back in and you get knocked on your butt backwards, and it hits you all over again like a ton of bricks. And so it's hard sometimes, but it's also hard when there's a lack of connection, understanding, or communication with that person prior to them taking their last breath, okay? And so I've got kisses coming to you, which does mean to me that they're giving love, but they're also making me feel like there was a lack of communication prior to their crossing over experience. And so with that, there would definitely create a little bit more ups and downs. And so follow me on TikTok, follow me on YouTube, which is also Spirit Speaks with Mid-Mitten Medium. And the only reason I say that is because I don't try to force you to get a reading from me. You don't necessarily need one. You just need to learn how to kind of break down some of the obstacles that are keeping you disconnected from receiving the clarity, the love, and the signs and symbols that she's trying to present to you. Okay. That will help you guys hold hands through the healing process together, and ultimately help your whole entire outlook in life if you know she's okay and you know she's helping you be okay too. That was it.
Beautiful. Well, thank you all so much for tuning into it with us. This has been an honor, and we're going to be better at it next time and go live flawlessly the next time. And thank you, Crystal, for holding space as always, and your messages and tenacity today that got us here on the live.
Thank you. I hope you all have a better week. I hope you are able to ground and surround yourself so you can receive whatever needs to be received. And I also hope that you are able to let things go that no longer serve you a purpose. You're all loved very much. Know that. Thank you, Mandy. I love you too. You have a good rest of your day, sweetheart.
Sending love to you all. Thanks for tuning in.